Welcome to Module 2 in your Feng Shui course for beginners. This is Marlena, and I will be instructing you today. If you haven't listened to Module 1, go back and do that before this one. Take them in order, and if you need to, come back and watch it again. And some notes if you are a note taker like I am. On the screen, you see the 5 elements that make up everything we know. Everything in our world and everything in our lives has to do with these 5 elements you see on the screen. The green arrows are showing us the elements as they generate one another. And the red are showing us the arrows pointing from one element to another, which bring destruction to that element. It's very important that our home has the generating elements working together more than the red arrowed ones, which are depleting that element. We use those for the Feng Shui stars. And that's what we're going to be working on right here together. We are going to look at these 5 elements of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. Together, we're going to begin with the water element. The water element feeds the wood. Wood is trees and plants. If you don't water your plants, what happens to them? They dry up and they are no good anymore. And that's what happens if we do not have water flowing towards the wood. We take the water and it generates the wood, it grows the wood, and the wood feeds the fire, right? Go camping and you use wood to keep the fire going, correct? Yes. So just like a forest fire, it needs wood to keep burning. Then when we have the fire element, it feeds the earth, all right? So the fire turns to ash, okay? The ash turns into earth, all right? And the earth generates metal, right? What is metal? Gemstones is a good example for what is metal. People collect the metal under the earth, right? Metal detectors, right? They go under the earth, okay? And then the metal element feeds the water, okay? So it's a generating cycle. Now, let's look at the water element for just a second, all right? So the water element with the wood, if you look at this from your home, your map of your home, okay, the water element is associated with the north of the home, right? And the wood element is the east and the southeast. So you can have plants out in the east and the southeast sector of your home, okay? Not in a bedroom. So where should a swimming pool go? It can go in the north where the water is. It can go in the east or in the wood sector, right? Which is southeast. So when planning out a swimming pool, these are the 3 areas where you can place a swimming pool, all right? You do not want to put a swimming pool in the south where there's fire, okay? Because you will put out the flame in the south, and you need to have the fire element in the south definitely to bring in your fame and your fortune. Very important. So you see how this is working now, okay? Yes. So use these elements so they work together for you, all right? Now, let's look at the red arrows for just a few moments, okay? Taking the water element, okay, and looking straight across, you see fire. So the arrow is going from the water to the fire, okay? So we use water to put out the fire. You see what I mean? So that's why we should not have water elements in the south or in the fire, okay? It will put out the fire. I also have experienced something in relationships. This is very amazing to me. So if you have someone who is of the water element and someone who is of the fire element, which I have experienced, what happens? The person with the water element puts out the fire of the other person. So there's a clash. You see how water and fire clashes. So if you're in a relationship and you are of the water element and you are with someone who is of the fire element, you will have a hard relationship. And that's one of the solutions now when you're looking for a mate. Okay? So take these things into consideration, right? So who would it be best for you to be in relationships with, to work with, right? This is why this is so important to study and to learn a lot deeper than most people will go with you. So we're looking at this, right, from water to fire. The water will put out the fire. So when we have too much fire from a negative star, which you're going to learn later along the way here, we would use a water element, okay, to calm the fire down. So these elements are in your house right now, okay? All these elements are in your home right now. So if you have water and fire, what happens, okay? So a bathroom is a good example here, okay? So in the bathroom, we have a lot of water and metal, right? Do not bring the fire element into the bathroom, okay? Such as red towels. That's just a sample for you. So think about that, okay? Yeah. So you want to keep the energy of the water flowing nice. It's a cleansing area, the bathroom, right? Okay. So take that example here, okay? And if there's too much fire, if there's a person in your home that is a fire element person, okay? You can look that up, all right, to see what they are with their zodiac sign, okay? So anyway, you'll notice that they're fiery and, they wanna attention, control. They might act up at times. So if you're finding that, this is a little secret here. Put a little dish of salt water underneath their bed, okay? Up by their head. Okay, that's a cure right there for you. It calms them down, all right, a lot of times. So see if you need to use that, there's that cure for you, okay? So as we started with that. So taking the fire element now, okay, and where does that arrow go to? It goes to the metal, right? So what does fire do to metal? It melts it, right? So they use a torch, right? And they melt metal, okay? They use fire to melt down the metal, to shape metal, okay? So when there is fire and metal too much, what happens? All right, it melts down the metal element. Okay, so in our kitchen, of course, we do have fire and we do have metal, right? And we have water. So we have three of them going on there. You have the water, the fire, and the metal. So what we do not want in a feng shui kitchen, and I know a lot of people have this, and well, that's the new decoration ways, but it's not good. What we're going to look at here. So you have a sink, right? And you have fire. Well, let's look at that first, okay? So if your sink is directly, okay, straight across from the stove, the oven, all right, it's not good feng shui. All right, it's just depleting the energy there. So you may have a lot of problems in your kitchen, problems with digestion, stomach problems, arguments, things like this happen. Okay, so when there is even a stove across from a sink, or I even use the refrigerator because that has water and metal as well. Um, I have utilized a green rug, all right, green towels, um, a plant, if you have a counter or whatever, that's fine. Also, these islands in the center of the kitchens now, right? They're beautiful, and you set your chairs around them and things like that. But if there is a sink installed in them, it's not good feng shui. If there is where your, you know, burners are, sometimes they put the burners in those. Not a good idea whatsoever, okay? Not good feng shui at all. So when you go into a apartment or a home, you're going to be very alert to these different things and say no, right? This is not good feng shui. You'll know it. Or if you're building a new home and you're working with the builders, you're gonna want to really feng shui the different rooms now for you and for your generating energy in that space, right? So we want to work on each and every element, each and every sector, one at a time. But I am taking you through this step by step. So now that you know about the kitchen a little bit, here's another tip for you. If your cabinets do not reach the ceiling and there's a space in between the cabinets and the ceiling where they hung them, that collects a lot of dust, all right? And the remedy for that is to place plants up there, but you're going to have to be able to water them. All right. I don't believe in fake plants. All right. Or thorny plants. Round leaf plants are awesome. Okay. So think about your kitchen the way it is right now. That's a very important room in your home. It has to do with your health and well being. It also has to do with your weight. A lot of people can't lose weight, and it's right in their kitchen. The solutions are right in the kitchen, believe it or not. Um, that will be in my full feng shui course, which you can take later on after you finish this one. So, the first thing is we are looking at the generating energies, the elements flowing through your space, and we're looking at the ones that actually deplete those energetics, okay? Those elements. So water, fire, metal, how they work together, right? So metal, we're going to look at metal right now, and where is the metal arrow going to? The metal arrow is going right at the wood, right? Think about trees. What do they use to cut down the trees? Metal, right? Metal tools, metal axes. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I tell people, be careful what you hang on your walls. Metal swords and knives and guns and all, take them down. Take them down. Okay? Having weapons, displayed on your walls, dead animals, take them down. Yeah, okay. These are things that are, cutting off the generating flow in your home, especially if those metals are in the wooded sectors of the space, which are the east and the southeast. The southeast is one of the corners that you do not want to have too much of the metal. The same with the east. Okay. Now, you want to have a balance of each of these elements in your space, of course, but taking down the sharp objects, the guns and knives and swords and things like this. I've gone into spaces and they have their collection of, their hunted animals and, trophies, fishes on the wall, first place, this and that, and they like that. And I notice in their life, there's a lot of problems going on, you know, and they don't see it, all right? But I have seen it happen, all right? So this is why I say take the stuff down that is not bringing life, it's not bringing joy, it doesn't bring up the energy in your space whatsoever. Now, as you know, we are living with one another. There's families, sometimes it's two sisters, two brothers living together. You're living with your parents, they're living with you. Um, you're with a partner, you're with a spouse, things like this. Bunch of children in the house. So it's a family thing. And all these energies are in the space. And if you can, think about how you can work this all out together so that the elements are in the right sectors and they are generating one another. Your home will be like luxury, peaceful, joyful, happy, wealthy, exciting. All right. And you can do that in an apartment as well. All right. So I myself have lived in several apartments growing up. We lived in motels for a while we were trying to find the right place to move to, or they were, working on the places. So we had to stay in wherever my parents went, or my mom went. We had to be with them, of course. And growing up, I didn't know much about energy or feng shui, but I could feel, you know, things were not right. You could see it wasn't working well in our homes that we went into. But they would place me there and say, you stay here and start setting up this stuff, and then we'll bring the other stuff in, and you keep going. And I would be a young child and setting up furniture. So that was my first experience with setting up the house. I got to choose the bedroom I wanted. I knew the largest bedroom in the spot would be for my parents, of course, right? And we had a lot of animals, so the animals had to come. They would bring the animals last so I can get the stuff done, thankfully. But as a young child, I was being prepared for what I was going to be doing now. All right, and I've been doing this for many years, also with my energy healing. All right, and I speak on telesummits a lot about clearing energy. So it all works together, doesn't it? Yes. So think about your home right now, all right? And in your bedroom, okay? Let's look at your bedroom, your Pacific bedroom right now. What are the elements in your bedroom? Okay? What are the colors on the walls? All right? What sector is it in? So you need to take notes, right? Your main bedroom is in what sector? You can go back at the notes of the Bagua map, right? And say, okay, it's in this sector, right? What colors are in that bedroom? Okay. Are you able to sleep at night? All right. Check that out. Are you having good romance? Yes or no? All right. Is there clutter in the bedroom? All right. Yeah. Is your bed set up right? Okay. These are all the things we need to look at. Okay. Now, one thing I will give you here as a special gift here is in the bedroom, we do not want the water element and we do not want the wood element. Okay. Wood meaning plants. Okay. Um, they bring in life, right? And we don't want that boost of energy in the bedroom because we'll be awake all the time, won't we? And water is constantly moving, it's flowing, it keeps you going, going, going. So that's another thing to think about, okay? If you're planning to build a home, do not put a bathroom, okay, above your bedroom, all right? If your bed, okay, is against a wall and behind that wall is the bathroom, move the bed, okay? Because the water will be running behind your head all night long, all right? Not a good idea, all right? So then we will, look in deeper at the other aspects of how your spaces are set up, okay? So looking at the kitchen, all right, what we do not want in the kitchen, right? We do not want a sink and a stove facing one another. We do not want them right next to each other. They must have a space in between them, okay? Which some apartments or homes have already been set up and you're already in there, okay? So we want to remedy those. You can contact me and we will work together one-on-one to remedy a lot of these different things that they have already done, okay? And maybe you can't move, all right? Because of funding or this is your home, all right? So you're going to stay in there for a while, right? So we want to remedy it. We want your home to be peaceful and balanced and in harmony with you and every member that's in your space, okay? And apartment dwellers here, condo livers, I get all these emails about how the energy of all the other people living there are disturbing my clients. So I help my clients get rid of that problem. Okay, so there are so many easy breezy solutions. And that's what I do. I bring you easy breezy solutions where you can change the energy almost instantly. Okay, you'll see a difference. You'll feel the difference when you remove things or add what needs to be there. But I needed to bring this out to you today with the 5 elements, right? So remember this video here and make sure that you have these all saved in your computer devices or your phone device. Save it into some kind of file so you can come back to it again, because believe me, down the line you're going to say, what did she say? Oh, I remember that course I took 5 years ago. you know, what did she say? Let me go back and reference to it. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. I'm trying to bring it in a good way, okay? Now, remember that there are other people that are different and unique to your energy. So they may clash with what you like in your space, right? They might like certain colors and certain items, and they might have piles of junk here and there, and it bothers you to no end, right? So we have to work around all that energy, all the emotions, all the feelings, all the belief systems. It's a lot to go through and comprehend. But if you bring in the feng shui, they will start to change. Your emotions will lift. The clashes will start to dissolve, and your house will become more livable, all right, and more stable, all right. It will stop a lot of the arguments and negative thoughts and things like this. It will, stop bringing in the relationship breakups a lot of times, okay? Sometimes a home is set up in such a way that it's, not good for relationships. It's not good for money. It's not good for health. We need to learn these things, right? I had a client and her and her husband would always be arguing, right? All the time. And they were both wealthy and they should have been very happy. They both had great businesses going. But when it came to trying to get along, they kept clashing. And I said, send me the layout of your home. So when she did, I said, no wonder why. And I laid it out to her. And I said, if I was you, I would move. So there are certain times when you need to move because certain setups of spaces are not good for, certain things. And that space she was in was not good for having and keeping a committed relationship. So it's a certain feng shui setup that was not good for that. It was set up for wealth, right, and health, but it was not good for relationships. So we want to remedy what we can. And the things we cannot remedy, and we can't change, okay, like the setup of a space. I can't rebuild the house, all right? So it's sometimes good to learn this deeply and know what you're looking for, what your goal is or goals. So some people just want to be in a loving relationship, and that's their goal. So they need to be in a home that welcomes that in, all right? Some people are just concerned about health and well-being, and they could care less about being in a relationship or, having wealth or whatever. They just like to work out and, that kind of thing. Go to the gym, So they want a house that flows with their energy, their goals, right? And those houses are available, all right? Just like wealth. You want a house that brings you good business, right? You want to know where that house is, all right? And if you don't have it now, you want to at least set up your space so you can start generating some wealth, some income, some sales, some clients, right? A better job, things like this, where you can attract that. So this is what this is all about. And so these are the 5 elements. If you go outside, all right, God and the universe laid it out for us, okay? The sun is the fire, right? the earth, right? We walk on the dirt, the soil, the sand, right? There's the earth, right? Yeah, so the metal, the gemstones, rocks are earth as well. Water, of course, we have lakes and brooks and streams and, oceans and, waterfalls and all that. That's water. Wood, you see plants and grass and trees, So you see it all out there. the outside, the universe, the world is already feng shuied exactly perfect. There is nothing out of order out there. Okay. And feng shui energy flows from outside in. That's very important to know. So, what is, when you look out your, front door or your apartment window, what is the element that is, out there? The first element you see. What is the most element you see? That is what's flowing towards your space. Okay? So if you live in the mountains, all right, you're going to have what? A lot of earth and wood. Okay? Mm. So that's what's going to flow towards you and around you. So you want to balance it. All right? So you'll know what you need to do by looking at this chart when you read it carefully. All right. So we covered your kitchen and your bathroom and a little bit of your bedroom. Okay. That's a lot to cover when you're starting this out. And when I first was looking at this chart here, the element chart, I was like, wait a minute, I have to do that again. All right. I have to learn this again. And how can I learn it in a way that's easy for me? Okay. So I thought about water. Water my plants. All right. What do I use? All right. When I want to start a fire, I use wood. All right. Fire, when I see a fire, after the fire, it's all ashes. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? Earth. So, and then the earth brings metal, metal elements, gemstones, right? So, yeah, so I was like, wow, that's a lot easier to get it when I look at it that way. And then for the, you know, negative actions that these, elements are doing to one another. When I looked at that, I really wanted to study it well because I was like, okay, I'm moving into a home that's all brand new to me. Um, they already laid it out, right? So, in order to balance this home, I really had to learn feng shui because they put additions on as well. And I was like, okay. And some people would come here and they're like, wow, your house is so big. And I'm like, yeah, yes, it looks huge, right? It has the feeling of big, roomy, spacious, that kind of thing. But there's three sections to the home. And you really better be a feng shui master to feng shui this house. Most houses are built in a square, in a rectangular um, shape. All right. This one is not. All right. It was, and now it's not. So when I came in here, I was like, oh, you can breathe when you open the door. It was just, it felt good. The energy felt good when I came in. And whoever owned this house right before me, fixed it up, things like that, put new floors in, painted it, whatever. But the lady happened to be Chinese, and I said, she feng shuied this, didn't she? I could see from the land outside, I could see the way she set up each room, things like that. And then my latest tenant here said, hey, I go, what? And he goes, this house is feng shuied, isn't it? And I said, yeah, and it's staying that way. So, you know, every year I have a little talk with him, all right? And tell him exactly what to do, what not to do, all right? And we kind of work together. It's a little clash because they like to collect things, and I do not want all that here. But anyway, we are going to remedy the energy that we can in your space. And I want you to take today and maybe tomorrow, all right, and start in each room. Go in each room and look at the Bagua map and see what's in the rooms, okay? So your space, all right, starts to get balanced, all right? Remove things quietly, okay, um, that are, depleting that energy. So if there's red towels in your bathroom, give them away, all right? Use them as hand towels or dusters or whatever. Just get them out of the bathroom. Bring in a nice color for that sector, okay, other than red. All right, the kitchen, remedy anything that is clashing, all right, using plants or green towels, green floor rugs, whatever you can do to break up that energy flow between each other. Really good remedy, right? There you go. So the green being of the wood nature basically would start to um, generate that energy much better. So you wouldn't have as much of arguments. And who wants to eat while you're all upset, right? No one. All right. So we want balance in your kitchen and dining space because that is the health sector of the entire home. All right. So if it's flowing good in the health sector, right, then people will be more healthier. So there's my beautiful class for today. It's much shorter, but very wise um, training for you today. Yeah, and it's going to make us want to go and be investigators and start cleaning up our spaces. That's what this is all about, right? Getting our homes feng shuied, all right? So these are the general tips for beginners, and I am so grateful that you have joined me here. And this is module 2. So congratulations for making it this far. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, get a hold of me and let me know. You can definitely reach me by email real quickly. All right. And if you haven't signed up on the website for the upcoming master classes, get on my email list so you get some free gifts when I send them out. Go and do that, okay? At mjfengshui.com. Email me anytime at Marlena at 123manifestit.com. And I will talk to you on day 3. Have a good day now.